Hey friend, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and today I'm going to show you 2 steps for getting a bass guitar mix that really bites and cuts through in the mix. I've got a track pulled up here I've been working on. It's just the instrumental mix at the moment. The vocals aren't quite finished and into the track, but there's this big bridge section, and I really need the bass to cut through because the bass player is doing some cool fills and some cool runs, and I want to hear that inside the track. Let me hit play here and show you where the mix is currently sitting, and then I'll solo up our bass guitar. You can hear what the bass is sounding like on its own as well. So here's our mix so far for this track. So you can hear the bass is big, it's got some deepness to it, but we're missing out on some of the cool runs and some of the cool fills that the bass player is doing when we put it inside the track. And that's still without the lead vocal in there as well. So we need a little bit extra oomph so this bass is going to cut through. I like the lows, I like the bottom end, I just want to enhance the top end here. Let me briefly run through what's going on the bass so far. I've got the frequency split trick going on here. So the DI is just our bottom end, everything below 180 hertz, and then our amp track is just the top end, everything above 180 hertz here, and then both of them are running into this bus channel here. A little bit of EQ going on. You can see there is a huge boost up in the top end to try and bring out some of that fret noise, some of the finger noise up on the top end, so it does cut through and it competes in the track. It's not quite doing what I want. I don't want to boost that all the way up and just bring up a bunch of noise either. A little bit of compression going on here. I'll hit play. You can see what's going on. So about 7 dB of reduction there, holding the bass in place. And then we've got some multi-band compression. This is what's getting in the bottom end right here. 20:1 ratio, fast attack, fast release. Just holding our bottom end in place. And then the last piece of the puzzle is just a bottom end boost. So I'm really happy with where the bottom end is sitting on the bass. I just want to further enhance the top end. So listen one more time. Here's our bass guitar. So what we're going to do here, the first step is I'm going to take this amp track, since it's just everything above the bottom end that we're really happy with, everything sounded good there, and I'm going to duplicate this track. So we're going to have another copy of the bass amp. So this is just our top end. And I'm even going to go a step further here. So we'll open this up and let's go even further into the top end, because this area here, this 350, 400, 500 area, that's not really what's going to get our bass to cut through. That helps it compete in the mid-range, but I want more top end out of this bass. So we're going to move this high pass up even further and just isolate the top end. So our first step here is duplicating our bass and isolating the top end. So we're looking at 500 hertz and above here, and even just visually, if you look at our frequency graph here, you can see there's not a lot of information going on, even with that huge boost we've got going on. So listen one more time. We'll see if we need to go any further here with the high pass. So I moved it up to about 700 hertz there. It's just getting us that noise on the top end that's going to help our bass cut through, and it's going to bring out these fills here. I messed around with a low pass filter to see if there was any noise or anything we needed to wipe off. Not sounding like there's anything up there, so that's fine. That's our first step there. So we're duplicating our bass track, and we're just isolating the super top end here that we want to enhance and we want to bring out in the bass guitar. Now, our second step here is we're going to distort that top end to get more energy out of it and to actually get it really consistent as well. So as we push into the distortion here, it's going to give us a little bit of compression effect as well and kind of even out the top end. So I'm going to pull in the red light distortion after our EQ here. We'll go to the second stage, so kind of right in the middle here. Hard tube is probably fine. We'll probably need to pull this down a little bit, but let's just push the drive here and see if we can get something more out of the top end. All right, I'm actually liking it like all the way up here. So I've got the drive all the way up at 11, which is, it's nice the drive goes to 11 here on the red light distortion. I've got the output pulled all the way down because of how much drive we're pushing in here. A little bit on the input and the distortion here. Again, running it on the second setting on the hard tube. I'm not utilizing the low pass or high pass inside the actual red light distortion. We're doing that in an EQ beforehand. That way we have a little bit more control over the slope and everything like that. So 24 dB per octave slope at 700 hertz on our high pass. And I did end up pulling in the low pass filter here as well, because as we crank that drive all the way up, it did bring out some noise in the super highs here. So we're just looking at this area from like 1K up to about 5K here. Listen one more time. I'll A/B our distortion. Now that sounds pretty nasty by itself with just the distortion. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back, listen to just our bass here, and we're going to mix in this distorted track, this heavily distorted track that sounds really aggressive and bitey by itself. But as we mix it in with our normal bass, our DI and our amp here, it's going to enhance that top end and it's going to help our bass guitar cut through, and it's going to help you hear that nice bite on some of these fills, which is going to sound really nice inside our track here. So we'll do it with just the bass and then we'll check it in the track as well. I'm digging it right here at like -11 with just the bass isolated, and I actually got rid of the low pass filter there. A little bit of noise up on the top end isn't bothering me. I mean, it's kind of always the old Dave Pensato saying, right? A little bit of noise sounds like the ocean, right? That's okay. So let's put this back inside the track here, and we'll see where it's sitting and maybe readjust it a little bit further, see if we can enhance that top end more. can hear the bass sounds a little bit meaner than we would probably want it by itself, but as we tuck this into the track with everything else that's going on, full drum kit, acoustic and electric guitars, keys, and then lots and lots of background vocals here, we need that extra distortion for it to cut through. And all this other stuff is just going to absorb all that extra aggression. So as we cook it up, it's going to help our bass cut through. And it might not necessarily sound the cleanest by itself, but as you dump it into the mix, it sounds exactly the way we need it to hear those fills inside the track. So let's dump it back inside the full mix one more time, and I'll A-B our bass distortion track here. Two steps to getting our bass mix to bite and to cut through in the mix here. The first thing we're doing is we're duplicating our bass track here and isolating just the top end. So we're only looking at 700 hertz and above, just that top end energy that we want to enhance inside the track. And step number two is we're using a distortion to aggressively distort that top end, get it really, really mean and really, really bitey. And then we're bringing that up underneath our original bass mix to enhance the top end and get our bass to cut through in the mix. I hope that was helpful for you if you are looking to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process in its entirety and really start to hone your workflow as an audio engineer. Then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and it's just a simple PDF guide that will walk you through the entire mixing process step by step to help you get professional and radio-ready mixes without any more of the guesswork. Completely free guide. You can get access to that by clicking the link below in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.